Hello, this is HookedByHappenstance. I'm Kendra, and it's time for episode 2 of Fairly Prepared for the year 2019. This is my series that I'm going to be doing from now through my county fair at the end of July, where I attempt to make progress on all of the things that I want to enter in my county fair. If you have been around for any length of time, then you know that I have a weird obsession with entering the fair. And I like to enter a lot of categories. Sometimes that means there's a scramble at the end. So I'm trying to avoid that scramble and put a little bit more intentional thought and energy into my fair projects for the year, and also get a bunch of things made that I want to make as that kind of goes along. So, as I told you last time in our previous episode, I had made a list here in this journal, went through my Fairly Prepared 2019, and I wrote out all of the categories that I wanted to enter. And so I'm going to talk about the progress that I've made on each one this week, and give you a little bit of a glimpse as to what I'm thinking and where I'm at on the different projects. So bear with me. This could take a little while, or it could be brisk. I, at this point, don't know. Last week when we talked about it, there were 18 items on my list. There might be 19 on it now, but 18 for sure that I'm going to commit to still. So the first section was in clothing and textiles under household linens for pillowcases that are crocheted. And I wanted to turn that like kind of on its head a little and do a different kind of edging on a pillowcase than normal. So this is where I'm at. I started this the other day. I took the Star Wars logo from the Star Wars Celebration poster, and using stitch fiddle I converted it to filet crochet. And so I'm currently in the process of doing that. It will, I think, show up better, hopefully, when I am done with it, because I'm only, I think, about a third of the way through. So it's going to be a fairly thick chunk. What my plan is to inset this in the top pillowcase part. So it'll be like pillowcase here with like a wide piece of lace along the edge, and then the other side will probably be just fabric, or maybe have like just a tiny bit of edging. We'll see when I find out how big this turns out for sure. The fabric I think I'm going to put with it, I have some Star Wars fabric that has porgs all over it, porgs and R2-D2, and so I think that'll make for some fun pillowcases for my HookedByHappenstance or one of my kids. I don't know. We'll see. When I told Steve about it, he was real excited about the idea of a porg pillowcase, so this might be happening for him. And it turns out that if I do all of this this lace work and I don't want to use it for the pillowcase, if I don't like it, I do have an alternate thing that it can become. Because I do sometimes think about that as I'm working on a project. If it's not turning out exactly how I see it in my head while I'm working on it, I start to think, is there something else it could like morph into? And if I don't use it for that, for the pillowcase edging, I could turn it into a dresser scarf. I could like extend it one way or the other and make a dresser scarf, which is a category I was not planning to enter, but I totally could. And you know, we would enjoy a bit of Star Wars lace in our life either way. And in that case, I would probably, after the fair, frame it and put it on our wall, or even just hang it on our wall unframed, depending. So, there's options with this, but I have begun my work on the crocheted pillowcase. The next thing that I have put energy into, let's see, looking through my list, the next thing is my Crocheted Afghan, and my plan is to finish this Afghan that I had already started a few months ago. This is going to be a Tides of Change, which is a free pattern by Frank O. Randall, that's his name more clearly, that you can find on Ravelry. And this is how far I am. I'm making it out of Bernat Mosaic, which is a discontinued yarn, and this is in the Optimistic colorway. It is also discontinued. I had bought an entire case of it from the Spin Right E-Tent a long time ago, and I'm slowly working my way through all of it, and I've had a hard time finding projects that I really liked it in, but I love it in this Afghan. This Afghan's going to be for me, so I'm just working my way through it. So I need to put some more energy, get some more rounds into that. Maybe I can get, we're going on vacation here. I'm probably going to take this with me as something to work on in the evenings. So that should hopefully get a skein or two of yarn into it. Keep me making forward progress on that. Next thing is a baby Afghan. In the 14th episode of Let Peachlet Pick this year, Peachlet picked my pink, red, orange, and yellow acrylic drawer, and so I decided I would make a blanket using a pattern that I had previously worked out. I've been playing around with it a little to get it how I like, and that I would retest it so I can write up the pattern. So I have been working a decent amount on this, which I'm calling my Astro Pop Blanket right now, because when I have all the yarns sitting together, it just reminds me of the colors of an Astro Pop. But this is going to be a baby blanket. It is, you can see there's like textured squares in it. They're worked as you go across, so the squares just kind of show up. And it's like kind of self-bordered because of the way the stitching is done. So it's fairly simple to work up. It's been fun. It's like got just enough in it that it isn't completely mindless, but I don't have to pay a great deal of attention. And the color, like I would not ordinarily put these colors together, but then I just kind of decided to try it, and I'm really enjoying something about it. It's just like speaking the spring to me, and I think it'll be good for a baby Afghan. I haven't decided exactly how many stripes it's going to get, or if it's going to get any sort of edging. It might get some sort of edging when it's done. We will see. But it's definitely, the edges are clean enough that it could just stay the way it is when it's done, unedged, and be fine. But I might put some sort of design on the ends. It's one of the things I ponder while I'm working on it, you know. It's always good to have a particular question with each project that you just think on repeatedly throughout the time you're working on it. Next, under clothing and textiles, crocheting, knitting, and tatting, is a crocheted tablecloth. And again, I'm trying to take a bunch of these things and kind of turn them on their head, which might come to bite me when it comes to judging, but that's fine. I feel like if I enjoy the project, that's the most important thing. So recently I got a box from Carla, and it included a bunch of cotton yarn, and these are all different brands, different types of like cotton in these. There's a few neutral colors, and then all of these like beautiful bright colors. So I think that I'm going to take all of these wee bits and put them together and do a tablecloth that is not your granny's tablecloth, that has a little bit of kick to it and includes all of these things. So I'm thinking on how it's going to work, but this bag has been sitting here reminding me it exists, and that these are the colors and things that I'm going to work with. So that decision has been made. Progress has not started on it though. But planning is part of the process, a large part sometimes. Next thing that I've kind of started thinking on how I want to do it and how I want the colors to go together is for a crochet dress. And these also, this yarn came in the box that Carla sent me. There's some Indigo Dragonfly. There's some Julie Acelen. Never heard of that brand before. There's some Tosh Merino Light. And it also has like the little like partial, the mini skeins that match it. And then this little bundle of stuff from, Ocean Wind Knits. It's like a gradient kit. So I thought about putting these all together and crocheting a dress. So it would be in like all of these teals, and I haven't decided how I want to kind of stripe them, but think kind of like I did with that cake sweater that I did, where I mashed up the colors in interesting ways with stitch patterns. I'm thinking about doing something similar, and there's also like a bluey or teal color that I have that I could add into. I haven't quite decided how much yardage I think I need to do the style dress I'm looking to make. I would be making like almost like an overdress, and then I would sew a light lining layer that would go under it so that I could, you know, not show all the bits and pieces, but still have a pretty lacy dress. So that is also percolating. There's a lot of things percolating in my brain right now. As far as the crocheted sweater, I have worked on it. Again, I got a bunch of yarn in this box from Carla, and it has been all the inspiration for the fair projects. This is going to be a sweater for me. I have completed the yoke, and I'm like working down the body now. The purples are Knit Picks Gloss DK, and the gray is from Ravelry Yarns. It's a DK Winter Sky, 100% new merino. This is Australian yarn, so it's working its way. I had been going gung-ho on this for a few days, and then it's just been sitting for a couple of days. I really need to put more love in it, but again, my brain's a little scattered with the craft show coming up and stuff, so this will get plenty of attention. I'm really enjoying the pattern. When I've tried it on, it fits so good. So good. So I'm looking forward to completing that, and I'm just making that pattern up as I go along, so that way it fits me, which is delightful. It's great to have clothes that actually like fit, because when you buy them at the store, they don't. That is why I'm leaning into that handmade wardrobe idea. As far as other crocheted article, this one is already done. I think I mentioned last time. For other crochet article, I'm going to enter this, which is my Decadent Frenchy hat. The pattern for this is available on Patreon in Peachless Pattern Pile. A bunch of the yarns that are in this hat actually were gifted from Carla for my birthday. This one is from Carla, and the purple is from Carla. And this gold one, Kat gifted to me when she first started dyeing yarn. She sent me some, and it sat in my stash for far too long, but I used this to make my Jovial Junipers shawl. And this is the leftovers. And then this gray is some Cascade 220 that I had in stash from one of the first projects, or maybe Rose Trellis Chalette. So one of the first things I ever bought like nice yarn for. I bought Cascade, and it felt decadent. And this is my Decadent Frenchy hat, made to celebrate my daughter's 10th birthday, because, you know, decadent. And I really, really like this, and I like wearing it, but I'm going to hold off on wearing it anymore until the fair. That way it stays pristine and can be entered as such. So another thing that I have been thinking about doing is for the hobby and craft section for counted cross stitch worded. This year I think that I would like to design my own pattern for it, not follow somebody else's. So I think that I want to come up with something that has all of the episode titles that I've used for Makes Monday episodes, and like put them all together in a neat way and do this like worded sampler of things that are important to me, which again, kind of taking these like really basic traditional fair ideas and turning them on their head a little. So I think it's interesting to take a bunch of these kind of lost art handcrafts, things that people don't necessarily think are prevalent in like modern life, or that lots of people aren't doing, and I like to kind of turn them on their head and find a way to make them more fun and interesting and like modernize it a little. And I like to make things that are personal to me, so not just doing like some random cat picture that somebody on the internet or at Leisure Craft or whatever drew of a cat that's not related to me. I'd rather do things that I feel some like actual specific connection to when it comes to the cross stitching. I've never really fully drafted, I guess I've drafted some of my own, but I haven't done the words this way before, but I'm looking forward to it. Again, percolating in my brain, and these are things that I will tell you more about in future episodes of Fairly Prepared. There will not be a Fairly Prepared episode next Monday, as I will be on vacation with my family for the week. I have a craft show, and then we're vacationing. So I will see you in 2 weeks, and hopefully I will have progress on several of these. Maybe I'll have something done for you. Wouldn't that be nice? I should probably have at least one project done. That'll be my goal. The goal will be to finish one fair project between now and the next time I record, and I'll probably have like bits and pieces done on a number of these things to update you on. I hope that you are all having a lovely whenever you see this, and I will see you all next time. Bye!